All right, Cowboy Nation, we're going to talk a little bit about adjustments. The Dallas Cowboys finally making their adjustments. They're practicing outside. Although I will say this, the weather in Dallas is not going to be as cold as it will be in Chicago. It's going to be 38 degrees. It's going to be windy. But they are practicing outside this week, which is good. I think it was like 38 degrees this morning. But anywhere, it's going to be around 65 to maybe, give or take, 58 degrees, give or take, in the Dallas area by the time they practice. So it's not going to be Chicago weather, but at least Jason Garrett is trying to make the necessary adjustments. And that's one of the main issues with this team. We would not make in-game adjustments. We make week-to-week adjustments. And then on top of that, our adjustments levels are not against the same team, you see. So I think that's why we play so well against common opponents. When we play a team that we know how they play, just for example, the teams that's in our division, we kind of play pretty good. It's just the fact that when we play those teams that's not a common opponent, it just seems like we see the old coaching flaws of Jason Garrett. Neither here nor there. This team, we still have an opportunity. We need to win this game. It seems like I've been saying this for the last 5 or 6 weeks. Must-win game, must-win game. Well, I guess every game is a must-win game in this type of situation. I do check the temperature of the fan base for those who comment and these sorts of things. A lot of people are saying that, hey, we might as well just lose out, or we in the driver's seat, we heading to nowhere. We got a blind coach that's driving this team, which is, everybody have a right to feel the way they are feeling right now. Right to be frustrated and upset and mad. We are too good of a team to be where we are at 500. But however, we cannot sleep on the Chicago Bears, and we cannot cry over spilled milk. We got to play the team that's ahead of us, and we got to finish out the schedule. We got to. We just can't just fold up like a lawn chair in a wallet. Although I'm frustrated with this coaching staff, I believe that Jason Garrett should not be back next year, regardless of what we do in the playoff, regardless of what happened this year, believe it or not. I just don't like his overall temperament. And I could be 1,000,000% wrong. If we so happen to win the Super Bowl, then all is forgiven. Wouldn't you guys feel the same? But that's far-fetched. That's reaching for low-hanging fruit or reaching for straws, however you want to call it. Now, also, shout out to the Cowboys for finally bringing a little pressure. Although it's kind of fake to me, but they brought a little pressure to Brett Maher. They're not going to sign those guys that they brought out, but it's just a chin check moment, letting Brett Maher know that, hey, you can't continue to play the way you are playing and missing these kicks. Now, we can give you longitude and latitude as it relates to a 50-yard, 55, 60-yard missing kicks. But when it's those close kicks, you got to make those, you see. Regardless of how we feel about it, regardless if you got Cowboys records and these sorts, that's just the reality of it. Now, here's another thing that I want to be able to say. This is the little thing that's kind of got me upset with the Cowboys organization, Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones and the rest of them, is they play around too much. You have the opportunity to make these things happen before the season starts, and you just sit and you tell lies after lies. Look, if you really want Amari Cooper, you pay him. If you really want Dak Prescott, if you really trust him, you pay him. Stop putting this fan base and putting the wedge between the Cowboys players and the actual fans and the front office and these sorts of things. Just go ahead and pay them, because at the end of the day, if that's your whole intention, then just go ahead and pay them what they are offering. Maybe not all the way secure, but I will say this: people play different when they get the money. I do know that people will say, well, man, look what happened to Ezekiel after they paid him, or look what happened to the previous players after they paid these guys. We got $80 million. And at this point, if you're trying to sit back and say, well, we're arguing over a few dollars and these sorts of things, just go ahead and make the difference. We the Dallas Cowboys. Because these players, it's always going to be mentioned about the money. And all we want to do is see the product that's on the field. Now, one can say to the Cowboys defense, they can say, well, we don't know if they keep continuing to say that they want more money. from the likes of it. Amari Cooper, if I'm a betting man, I don't think that he's asking for that type of money. I don't think that Dak Prescott is asking for an outlandish type of money. It's up to the Dallas Cowboys organization to sit these players down and say, hey, we about this business action. We about winning games. But however, we would like to, make this journey with you and bring you along the way. I could be wrong on it, but to me personally, I just think it's a little crass for us to still be talking about contract talks, and it's almost 4 games left in the season. There's 4 games left. We need to get focused. We need to be dialed in, tuned in, and stop talking about contracts, and let's talk about wins. Let's talk about strategies. Let's use some analytics, for crying out loud. That's what we need to be doing. We need to be using some of this money to find some analytics or some analysts out there to help us out in the end game and making these necessary adjustments. All right, let me know. Post me your thoughts. Post me your concerns down below. I really want to know how you all feel about this whole situation with the money. And are you guys happy that they are finally making their adjustments as it relates to, hey, we practicing outside, opposed to waiting to the last minute and saying, okay, let's practice outside. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Salute. I'm out. Peace.